Hello everyone, this is Reverend Squatch, and according to my wife, I am the world's strongest and nerdiest preacher. What do you think? Let's get into the video. This is going to be a 5-part series where I take things and I add them into Marvel Comics. Now, this is going to be a new world. It's basically 616, but with other things added onto it. Let's start. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a Skull Island. Now, the Skull Island is not the North one. The conglomeration of the 1933 Skull Island, the 2005 Skull Island, and the Legendary Pictures Skull Island. With all of these together, some things change. The Skullcrawlers did not succeed in defeating the Titanus Kong species. On average, Titanus Kong was about 250 feet tall for the males and about 200 feet tall for the females. Now, these aren't the alphas. The alphas are Kong is an alpha. There's a difference. Well, they had help this time from the smaller Megaprimus Kong species. Yeah, they're only 30 feet, but there's a lot of them. And again, they weren't killed out because the creatures that killed them were kept in balance by the Titanus Kong. And in return, they helped when the Skullcrawlers came through. So the Skullcrawlers, they still come up from time to time, but they're not a major problem. And King Kong becomes an alpha and gets to his full size. Now, since there's an alpha male, an alpha female does appear. She's not as big as Kong, but she's a little larger than a typical male of Titanus Kong's species. So she's about 270 feet tall. Massive compared to the female Kongs, but not that big compared to the males. 20 feet, so a 10% size increase beyond what's possible if you're not an alpha. Well, King Kong will have a family in this one then. Doesn't have one right now, but he will. Skullcrawlers exist, all the megafauna exists, the dinosaurs, the strange creatures, all of them. Well, what happens? Basically nothing. The world isn't changed by this at all because the creatures on Skull Island are completely fine if you want to leave them alone. Now, if you add Monarch into this, that could switch things up. I'm not going to do that yet. That might come a little bit later. But not yet. The main problems you're going to have to deal with are Hydra in the form of Baron Zemo and the Red Skull, Doctor Doom, and maybe Sinister, Mr. Sinister. Those guys might be an issue because, Mr. Sinister's probably going to succeed actually and get a DNA sample. Though he might just say, hell with it, and I'll get into why later. But Mr. Sinister is the most likely to actually succeed because the other ones, heroes are more likely to get involved. Yeah, maybe the X-Men get involved with Mr. Sinister, but normally it's not much of a bother with him unless he kidnaps one of their own, which is pretty often. But in this situation, that wouldn't happen. So I think he actually does this completely unscathed. Doctor Doom, yeah, the Fantastic Four keep a pretty good eye on him, and he'll probably be stopped before actually getting any worthwhile samples. Baron Zemo and the Red Skull are really good at doing things from the shadows. So they'll actually probably get some DNA samples and create some new hybridized monstrous creatures, some new kaiju. What they create, I don't know. It depends on what they feel like mixing it with. But you can pretty well bet it's going to be an issue. Those are the main things that'll change. Like, nothing's going to directly change because of Skull Island itself. Now, what some of the supervillains do with Skull Island might cause a change. But Skull Island in itself has no effect on the outside world. It's just there. There's a lot of strange and bizarre things in the world. Skull Island isn't that strange compared to some of the other things that exist. Well, I hope you enjoyed this installment of this 5-part series. Have a good day.